from a professional aspect, effectively, Carolina told you they didn't want you anymore. Is there any bitterness there, Ron?
No, there's no reason to be bitter. I did the best I could, and when it was time to move on, David Tepper treated me with tremendous dignity and respect. He really did. He gave me an opportunity to say goodbye, and I really appreciated that. And what's really kind of cool, kind of speaks to who he is. When we played him here, he did a Rivera strong as well. So I got a tremendous amount of respect for what he's doing there right now, what they're trying to do in terms of their rebuild as well. But there is no bitterness. I mean, if there is anything, it's just miss the folks and the friends we had in Charlotte.
Ron Rivera with the very reasonable and calm answer, even though the questioner tried to stir it up a little bit. They basically told you to pack your stuff and get the hell out of here. You suck. What do you have to say to that, Ron? I mean, it was just a half click below that, and he didn't take it. I like the restraint from Ron Rivera.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's always like that. He's got such a great, calm demeanor about him, and that's why he's, been a really damn good coach for a long time. And, again, I think he understands the business. He's seen all angles of it. He was a player. This time comes at all times for everybody. It's the most humbling sport in the world as far as that's concerned, and he's on to the next challenge. He's grateful for that, and he's got enough things to worry about with his own Washington football team and getting them in the right place, let alone worrying about, the past and what happened in Carolina.
They got that victory over the Buccaneers on Sunday that has maybe given the Washington football team a little bit of a kick in the butt. And now Ron Rivera not only goes back to Carolina, but he goes back to face a quarterback that he probably didn't think would be playing for Carolina anymore. And Rivera told me on Sunday he's got his file of plays to be used against Cam Newton if he ever comes across Cam Newton. Again, I'm sure he never expected to come across Cam Newton in Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. But it's looking like it will indeed be Cam Newton starting. Here is Panthers coach Matt Rule from yesterday admitting that it is trending toward Cam Newton over P.J. Walker as the starter Week 11 when Washington and Ron Rivera come to town.
I think we're probably trending that way, to be quite honest with you. I just, I'm not gonna probably pull that trigger till later. But I think that I was pretty transparent the other day in terms of we're wanting to push him. I think into that role. I think it's good for our team. But we're getting PJ ready as well, and I think as I said, I think game plan wise, we could see a myriad of different things happen.
And this is what's fascinating to me, and you've talked at length about how the NFL may be catching up to the Joe Brady offense, and
right.
This belief that they're spending their time teaching Cam Newton the Joe Brady offense. I think they need to be teaching Joe Brady the Cam Newton offense, but at the same time, you have a guy coming to town that knows Cam Newton better than anyone in the NFL does, and that anyone in the NFL ever will. 9 years with Cam Newton from the day he was drafted. That's when Ron Rivera got Cam Newton. Their careers in Carolina, identical. They arrived the same year. They left the same year. So this is a hell of a challenge for Matt Rule and Joe Brady to come up with an approach to use Cam Newton when they're just getting acquainted with him, when the guy that's going to be defending the Cam Newton offense knows him as well as he possibly could.
Yeah.
That is, to me, a fascinating wrinkle to this game.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it definitely is. And Ron Rivera having a defensive background and all that. Yeah, I'm sure he's going to have some good ideas on how to defend maybe some of the power run game stuff that Cam Newton does. Certainly. Yeah, probably has a good feel for what routes Cam likes to throw, or he'll sit on this route too long and not move on to the next read or whatever. Yeah, he's going to have some knowledge there. But I don't think it should, deter. What is that? Deter. Thank you. Right. That should not stop.
Not deterred. Not
yeah,
deterred.
Right.
Unless you're past tense. I'm not talking about it that way.
Yeah.
Deter.
Yeah, deter. It should not deter the Carolina, I think, coaching staff from kind of approaching it the way you said, where, yeah, we got our offense and we got our stuff we do here, but, let's infuse some of the Cam Newton stuff that he does well, and that gives us an advantage, for our complete football team. Again, I think that's where I just look at Carolina right now, and I think we're past the point of thinking like, whoa, their offense is going to get it back together, and they're going to start throwing the ball all over the lot and look like the team they did early in the year. That's not going to happen. That ship's, sailed and gone. But what they can do is with McCaffrey back, the Cam Newton runs, physical running the football with McCaffrey, an occasional shot down the field to DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, few screen passes to them, some quick passes to McCaffrey out of the backfield where they can play power football and still be dangerous and make you defend the whole field, and more importantly, play through their defense, which their defense is great. It's a great defense. It really is. Their biggest issue, again, is like we talk about with a lot defense. Like the Carolina Panthers defense is number 6 in football. To me, it's better than that. It really is. But, it's the old thing we always talk about. Man, it's just they have to be on the field a whole lot there for a bunch of weeks because their offense was so stinky. So I think you're going to see more of a complete team, a team complementary approach from Carolina here on out. And I think it speaks to like what you're saying with like Joe Brady learning the Cam Newton offense and infusing that into his game plan with just a little bit of what he does to add to it, as is in Joe Brady. That makes sense to me at least.
And everybody in the NFC is alive except the Lions, very much alive.
Yeah.
And this is a huge game for Washington if they want to pull their way into a chase for maybe a 7 seed. Obviously, the NFC East title is, as a practical matter, out of reach, but they could still get a wild card. The Panthers in play for a wild card. In these games where you see the NFC contenders for 5, 6, 7 seed crossing each other's paths, that's going to help sort all this out as we get closer and closer to determining who's going to get a spot on the playoff tree. But both of these teams are alive. And this game went from being just kind of one of those games you brush past to being a very compelling game on Sunday when Washington and Carolina get together at 1 o'clock Eastern. Another game that will be very compelling on Sunday.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.